From Peggy's Cove, our next stop is Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, a charming fishing village Chronicle has visited before.
The architecture of the town, the houses built by the merchant class, is reminiscent of Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Colors pop along the waterfront at this UNESCO World Heritage Site, a designation given to a cultural or natural site considered to be of outstanding value to humanity, says Nathalie Irving, chair of the Lunenburg Heritage Society.
Surveyor in England designed the town. The town was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site because how closely it resembles that original plan set out prior to 1753.
Protestant settlers arrived in Lunenburg more than 100 years before Canada claimed independence from the British back in 1867.
They, of course, were promised land for farming. This is not good farming land in Lunenburg County.
Instead, the settlers turned to the vast resource around them, the sea, and prospered tremendously from shipbuilding and fishing, says Hilda Russell, curator of interpretation at the Fisheries Museum of the Atlantic.
Fishing still remains to be the #1 industry of the province, but it certainly has a very different look and feel.
From ocean preservation to historic shipwrecks, the Fisheries Museum of the Atlantic shares the history of the fishing industry in Nova Scotia.
For many generations, Lunenburg would have boasted as being the fishing capital of Canada. But our story was all about the offshore. But that all changed in 1992 when you had the collapse of the cod fishery.
The demise of the Atlantic Northwest cod fishery is considered the single largest collapse of a single species ever. Today, commercial fishing in the province is more of an inshore operation, focused on lobster.
No longer is cod the king of the sea. It's now that little crustacean is the king of the sea. It's one of the most dangerous industries and continues to be one of the most dangerous industries we have in this country.
My dad's side, they come from a long line of captains of boats.
Candace Forward is a native Lunenburger.
We're one of the founding Protestant families that came from Germany here to Lunenburg in 1752.
From folk festivals to Oktoberfests, Forward is involved in all of Lunenburg's happenings. Today, tourism is a primary industry in the town, but many residents still make their living on the water.
No one's getting rich, but we keep building wooden boats, and that's kind of, and keep buying them.
Meet Daniel Moreland, captain of the Picton Castle.
And what is that experience like for you? I mean, that's what?
How much time do you have? She's a world-class Class A tall ship. She's a sail training ship. We've done 8 round-the-world voyages, done smaller voyages along the coast, participate in tall ship events.
And he's the proprietor of the Lunenburg Dory Shop.
It's the last commercial dory shop left in North America. Every little waterfront town from New York to Labrador had 1 or 2 dory shops, someone knocking out dories. They're sort of industrial grade work boats, very useful, very utilitarian, kind of like they were the Ford 150s of the day.
Across from the dory shop, there's seemingly everything one would need to build and maintain a wooden boat.
We're just specialized in tall ship rigging, yacht rigging. So rigging is any sailboat you see will have wires and ropes, and that controls the mast, all the little components.
That whole grouping over there are turnbuckles, and the shackles are right there.
Have you ever been in a shop where every nook and cranny is filled with thingamabobs and doohickeys? Organization is an afterthought, yet it all seems to make sense? That's what it's like at John Edelman's hole-in-the-wall, the Chandlery.
What you're seeing is really mostly brass and bronze, although there's a lot of galvanized here.
There's an art to crafting, maintaining, and sailing old wooden ships. While dories are still seen out on the water most evenings in Lunenburg, that's not the case in other communities where wooden boats were once popular.
To put it in a nutshell, the old people are the only ones with the old boats now. The young people, they don't want to do anything like that. They go in here and go, what is this stuff?
This has got to stay working waterfront. It's essential, not just for the working waterfront and the year-round jobs it provides, which is different than some hospitality jobs, but it's the economic engine for not just this town, but the county, and it's an icon of how you can match industry with hospitality.
And keeping Lunenburg's waterfront a working one is not an easy task. A group of younger people, like Michael Moreland from Ironbound Rigging, have dedicated themselves to continuing the community's maritime traditions. Many of them work at the Lunenburg shipyard and the surrounding area, preserving and crafting boats.